It all started with a book. It was the last one. We both ran for it. Then we fought over it. I got in some good punches, but he kicked me and I fell right into the railing. That was the day I found out about my condition. Awake. Where am I? Some library? Hey buddy? Whoa, who did that to you?
Don't you remember? You did.
Oh man. The doctors call it anterograde amnesia. Ever since the accident, I haven't been able to remember anything new. It's a problem with my short-term memory. I know my name, where I was born, but I never know how I ended up anywhere. I have to write down everything if I want to remember it later. My history consists only of what I knew from before. Everything past that point is only what other people tell me. I have to be careful who to trust. Trust the facts, the writing, or the camera, but not memory.
You ready to learn some more?
Time for you to learn something. I'm walking along, and as usual, I can't remember what brought me here. What is this? Did I live this for myself? Rohan, Chris, what do these marks mean? I will figure it out later.
In history, there are two sides to everything. I don't mind telling you right now that I've been cheating you for years, charging you every day and teaching you the same stuff. You won't be needing that. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Pens. I need a pen. I need to write this down, I need to write this down, exactly what happened. Come on. Concentrate. This is a library. There's gotta be a pen somewhere. Wait. Maybe I left myself a clue.
In history, there are two sides to everything.
I'm gonna kill him. So this is Rohan, my friend. I'd better go talk to him. Hi, I'm Thomas.
Hey.
Excuse me if I seem a little strange. I suffer from this condition. I can't remember anything I do, so I might repeat myself sometimes. The next time I see you, I won't even remember that we talked. Wait, I've talked to you. I told you about this before, right? Haven't I?
Yeah, you have. Every time you see me. What's the last thing you can remember?
I was looking for AP US history book to study for my AP exam, and I saw on the shelf there was only one copy left. so I ran for it. But there was another guy who was going for it, and we were fighting, and I punched him, and he kicked me, and I fell head first, and I can't remember anything.
Sounds painful. You sure can't remember anything?
No, memory is not important. We can't rely on memory because it's too easy to manipulate. His memory is not record. It's an interpretation. It doesn't matter if I can remember anything. Just because I can't remember, that doesn't mean my actions are meaningless.
For example, do you remember 9/11? When the planes crashed into the towers? And then we saw it on the news, but every channel had their own biased perception. And so, can we really trust their opinions? And since we cannot directly observe this past, we have to trust them.
How much evidence do we need to decide if something is true?
Historians record traces of history that they have deemed relevant and significant. The purpose of recording could be either to inform you, to persuade you, or to entertain you. And so this attitude and reliability of the source has to be taken into account. We compare the sources, such as Foner and Smith, and see which one is more reliable.
Haven't those historians studied for a long time? They have experience to support their claims.
No. New evidence appears to overrule past claimed truths, such as Foner's credibility.
What's the purpose of history?
To remember the past and preserve it, obviously.
What is the role of history in our lives?
Well, that's a better question. With better understanding of history, we can realize what shaped us to be who we are and how we are. Then, hopefully, we'll be able to make some generalizations about us and even some predictions about the future.
What are the role of historian and authority?
It took several years to learn American history. What if you tried to learn the history of every single nation? And what if everyone tried to do that? No one will be able to learn anything but study history.
Oh, I get it.
That is why we as knowers need historians who can keep track of all histories.
That means the history can be manipulated?
Sadly, or luckily, yes. Although the history happened one and only one way, the history will always change as it descends from other generations. You know, the winners write history, not the losers. But with biased history, knowers can learn different perspectives. So yes, the history can be manipulated, but I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing. How do you define good anyways? In history, there are two sides to everything.
Where are you going?
I have to meet my tutor. He's going to prepare me for a history test.
Who's your tutor? Oh, he's a bad person. He'll take advantage of your condition.
Oh, that's good advice. Thanks. I'll write it down. Let's learn. So, how does perspective affect our understanding of history?
When we're from My Lai, Vietnam, you would have a totally different perspective on the My Lai incident than what is taught in America. Not only your cultural background plays a role, but your emotion also plays a huge role.
So you're saying historians are historical resources. Are they reliable at all times?
Of course not. I just said they can manipulate history. They are knowers like us and highly affected by their cultural background, emotion, and experience.
Wait, so who determines what is history?
It is up to the individual to decide what is history and what is not history. Although there are some histories that are acknowledged by the norm, such as the French Revolution or the Vietnam War, there could be also histories that only exist in your family. Say you got an A once in your history class back in middle school. Not everyone will recognize this fact, or they may not believe that you got such a high grade, but you know it happened and it will be in your history forever. So to answer your question, anyone could determine history. However, more credible the person is, more likely she or he will be able to convince other people to accept the fact as history.
Yes.
If your middle school teacher appears right now and tells you that you did indeed get an A in history class, I believe it's since she has more authority, incredibly, than you do. For example, do you remember 9/11? When the planes crashed into the towers?
Yes. Chris, my tutor?
Tommy!
Well, I assume we met already. You can never know anything for sure. I like to take a picture of people when I meet them, so I can remember them later.
I charge $3 for tutoring this. You wouldn't know that because this is your first time.
Oh, here you go. Let's learn. Was it just a dream?